Adam Sandler's Eight Crazy Nights. I just I want to start off with a sort of preface to this review. I want to say I am not one of those people that automatically hates an Adam Sandler movie. There are certain actors in this world that are incredibly polarizing, and Adam Sandler is one of them. People either, you know, I some people will just go into any Adam Sandler movie just sure they're gonna hate it. I'm not one of those people. He's made some stuff that's kind of funny, and he's made some utter crap. And anytime I go into an Adam Sandler movie, I am wary, but I try to keep an open mind because, like I said, he's made some things that I consider entertaining. And I go in hoping that it's going to be one of the good ones, but in this case, it obviously was not. I guess I'll start off by talking about the whole entropy angle for this thing. There were a couple of reasons that I decided I wanted to do this review, to have Entropy do this one. First, I wanted to kind of, it had to do with how much I hated the Enchanted Christmas, Beauty and the Beast. I wanted to kind of impress on people that I hate that movie. I just hated it so much. And so I wanted to be sort of out of commission. So I think that it kind of works pretty well to drive home the point that that movie is so awful that you need to take a break from bad movies after you see that one. And the other reason is I kind of wanted to. I've gained a lot of subscribers since I last did anything with Entropy, and I wanted to kind of reestablish him a little bit. And I think this is a really good movie to do that with, because this is the exact kind of thing that would just horrify Entropy, because all of his his characteristic is obviously that he's trying to be a supervillain, but he's really bad at it because he is compassionate and he sympathizes with people, and there's a lot of empathy in his character, and so he can't be a good supervillain because he feels bad for people. And I kind of wanted to, God, so disgusting. I wanted to sort of reestablish that, and also I when I first created Entropy, he was just sort of a one shot off character that I did for a class. And the costume was really simple. It was this big, bulky shoulder pads, this really unwieldy cape, and this enormous paintball mask, as well as like a ninja-style sort of mask that I would wear under, which was actually just a t-shirt folded in a very specific way. But the problem with that Entropy costume is that it has always been, I never designed it intending to reuse it all that much. And so it's actually really inconvenient for me to... the costume is really bulky and really unwieldy, and it's not all that comfortable to wear for extended periods of time, and it just it didn't transport well, none of that. And so I wanted to kind of redesign his costume, but I had to have a reason for his costume to be redesigned. So I figured this is around the holidays, I would maybe get him a little something of a present. And so I decided to make that present his new costume. And so, I designed this t-shirt for him. I had this old pair of Darth Vader gloves, and I bought a lab coat. That's actually the lab coat from my Dr. Insano costume. And then, of course, I turned the goggles that I used to wear all the time on my head into Entropy's goggles. And, like I said, I think Entropy works pretty well for this review because there are a lot of deplorable, horrifying things that happen in this movie. And I have to say that in terms of all the movies I've ever done, this movie was really, really hard for me to review because I had seen parts of it on TV a while back, but I didn't really remember just how bad it was until I started rewatching it for this review. And this movie is so much more terrible than I remember it being, because it's not funny, it's not endearing, you don't sympathize with the protagonist, you don't even like him a little bit. It's just awful. And there is only one character that is worthwhile in this movie, and that is Whitey Duvall, the old man. And you really sympathize with him, and you feel bad for him, and you want him to succeed. But this movie then proceeds to take the only character that the audience could possibly care about and just brutalizes him for the whole movie. And I don't understand it. I really don't. And that's why it was hard for me to review this movie. One, because, it's such a mean-spirited movie. And also just because there are so many things that happen in this movie that they happen and I don't know what to say. That's why, so much of, Entropy's reactions here are just, why is this supposed to be funny? Why is this supposed to make me laugh? What is the joke? What? Please tell. I'm dumbfounded by how bad this thing is. It's easily the worst Adam Sandler movie. And, I actually, I kind of like the animation on this movie. It's a good looking movie. Like the main character looks just like Adam Sandler, and it takes advantage of the fact that it's animated. There are things you can do in an animated movie that you could never do with live action, and this movie takes advantage of that, and it's pretty well animated. But that's the only compliment that I can give it. It's just so profoundly horrible. And you see, I started this abuse count thing here, and like I said, I think the abuse count ends up like at 11 or 12 or something like that. Which is what I mean. Just horrible, terrible things happen in this. Look at that smile that he just let off while he was laughing there, and then oh god, and look at that's just the toilet humor in this movie is. I don't mind toilet humor if it's done well, but it is not done well in this movie. It's just, this movie is really, really unpleasant to watch. It's just, every single bit of humor in this movie is so misguided. Like, I don't get it. I don't get what this movie is trying to do. I don't understand what the jokes are. I don't understand why this is supposed to be funny, and I want to know. I wish I could sit down with the Adam Sandler or the creative team of this movie or something, just so somebody can explain this to me. Because I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. And that's why, like I said, this movie was so hard for me to review, because I see the things that happen in this movie and I don't know what to say to them. Especially towards the end, where I think towards the end, the creators of this movie really started to run out of ideas, because this movie just gets more and more random and disjointed as the film goes on. And so, well, we're coming up on the end of part 1 here, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this out for now, and then I'll come back to part 2 in just a few minutes.